Okay. This is the sun, and this is the earth, rotating counterclockwise on its axis at over 1,000 miles an hour. In January, because the tilt's away 91 million miles between the sun and the earth. Right here is the United States, and it's noon right here because you're facing the sun. So when the United States spins over here, nighttime is out over here. And this is January, February, March, and April. All this time spinning counterclockwise 24 hours a day. But right here, we have a problem. Because you see, right here, noon is right here. Then in April, noon should be over here. But noon is out over here. So the 24 hours has lost time. And as it continues to orbit the sun, as it rotates on its axis and comes over here, where it's 95 or whatever million miles away, they say, now noon has become midnight because the sun is over here and the nighttime sky is up there. And so on and so forth. Now, we maintain cosmic order night after night for millenniums since recorded time. And we always have the North Star in the same relative position to us. And all the other stars tend to rotate around it. So, with that being said, in January right here, when you're looking out there and you see the North Star out there at night, because noon's over here and the North Star is out over there in January. Not to mention in January, when you are closest to the sun, supposedly, is also the coldest time of the year. Because in January, you're supposed to be 91 million mile distance. Come around here in its orbit to June. And you're 95, they say. Who measured these distances? Can you please tell me who measured the distances? Who created the phenomenal times that are so extensive that your mind can't comprehend them anyway? The millions of years, the hundreds of light years. You just willfully buy it. So, with that alone, the North Star would have to be over there now. And it's not the parallax. It's not that far away. I don't know the distance. And neither do you. That's the flat out basic fact. But there's no way it can be clear over there and clear over there at the same time. Because the night sky is over there in June and over there in January. And now we're further away also, and it's hot outside. And you can run around in bare feet and shorts and no shirt in June when we're further away from the sun. So, with that alone, that is a disapproval of the globe. Plus you have, at the same time, the moon staying in perfect sync to where you only see one side of it. The same face, time after time, day, night, whenever it appears, because it appears at any given time. There's no set time for the moon to appear. So it just orbits the Earth while the Earth orbits the sun, while the sun orbits the galactic center of the Milky Way, while the Milky Way is shooting through the infinite universe. The tilt of the Earth is supposed to be 23.4 degrees. You take 23.4 degrees off 90-degree vertical and you end up with 66.6. The Earth is supposed to be orbiting the sun counterclockwise at 66,600 miles an hour, while the sun's orbiting the outer galactic rim of the Milky Way at 666,000 miles an hour, while the Milky Way is shooting through the infinite universe. I've seen numbers as high as 1.2 million miles an hour. It just depends on where you go to look to find your information. So don't come to me with no wiki links and shit, because I don't really care to hear it and see it. It's a waste of time. What do? Just grab all the information that's out there and add it all together and come up with an average? I've done that, been there. It doesn't matter. What they say is bullshit. And they're stealing your money, and that's what matters. That's what matters to me. That's why I talk about it in public so much. There ain't a place that I go that don't recognize me as the reality realizing individual. Right now I'm in Colville, Washington, and Colville's being shook and awake by reality, just like Kashmir, Washington did. Now it's Colville, Washington. Because I travel around a lot. My job, I'm a union iron worker, and my job allows me to do it, to get around, to create the question in the people's mind whether or not what they've been told their whole life has any merit whatsoever. You know, it wouldn't be so bad there's a lot of people who just don't see how it affects them. And I don't understand how you can't recognize how it affects you if you're funding illegitimate government from the beginning, from the highest level. That means the lowest level of government is illegitimate also. But the sun is supposed to be some kind of nuclear reaction happening up here in outer space, in the vacuum of outer space. How is that possible, ball earthers? Enlighten me on that one. Because if you have an explosion going off in a vacuum, I guarantee that that explosion would be diffused and sucked out of existence on the enormous vacuum that outer space is supposed to be. You have to think logically. You have to follow common sense reasoning. You have to compile all of these evidences, all of the data, all of the information together yourself, that you can't find no curve out there anywhere that's measurable anywhere, that the land is always at your eye level no matter how high you go. We got balloons that are 125,000 feet in the air, and you look out there and it's flat and level. You have the sun and the moon that are obviously not the claimed distances away when you look at them in the clouds, and you see that the light pattern being gathered in the clouds immediately around both of them entities versus the whole blanket of cloud cover being illuminated as you would observe if they were the projected 93 million miles with the sun on the average and 235,000 miles with the moon on the average. The crater of the moon Tycho is approximately 50 miles across, and it's 250,000 miles away. That would be, and you can see Tycho with the unaided eye when you look at the moon, and that would be like seeing a school bus from approximately 20 miles away. A physically limited impossibility. It wouldn't happen. You cannot. You would have to have aid to see the school bus at 20 miles away. Yet you can see Tycho with the unaided eye. You have to compile all these evidences together. You know the physics of water. Water always maintains a flat level surface tension created by the layers of gases as they stack upon each other and create the pressure that we endure on the surface of the plane. They don't call airplanes for nothing. They can only lie so much. They have to have the truth in their deceit. Everything, truth and deceit are just the same thing but different points of the plane. Just like dull and sharp. They're no different from each other. They're just different points on the same plane. And yeah, I don't know where I was going with this, but with all of the lack of evidence to support the actual spinning ball chasing the sun through the universe, while the Milky Way's going through the universe, orbiting, all the nonsensical bullshit. You can't piss down my back and tell me it's raining. So, anyway, folks, you got to gather your own information and your own data, compile it together, and discern over it unbiasedly, unprejudiced, unopinionated. When I first started doing my investigation, I was prejudiced towards the spinning ball because I wanted to prove the flat earth was the deceit. But through my investigation and gathering the information of the distances and the data and the diameters and the lengths, and nothing adds up. But you have to discern over it with a open, critical thinking mind. Let all of the evidences that have been gathered cure the reality of to where you are. Because if you think that you're on a spinning ball, Earth, rotating on your axis, orbiting the sun, while the sun orbits the Milky Way, and the Milky Way shoots through the infinite universe at over 2 million miles an hour combined. You're out of your freaking mind. You really are. There's absolutely nothing that supports that kind of hogwash. And all your gatekeeper channels out there just trying to make this shit look crazy to the people who were first introduced to it. You ought all be ashamed of yourself. Okay, I better take this call. Thanks for tuning in. Y'all have a good day, and we'll see what's going on later. Peace out.